Hey everybody, Coach Toolshed here. Today I want to talk about one of the bigger myths when it comes to monetization in games. When it comes to one of the things that people like to defend constantly when it's in a game that they like, and they want to try to use this as a shield to defend the game and explain why the monetization in their preferred game is actually totally fine and why it's okay. And I want to get into that today because we got a few recent examples that we can go into, and there's some historical examples that we can look at as well, where the myth of in-game currency has been shown to be total, complete nonsense. I'm also going to address some of the comments that I got in one of my last videos talking about Apex Legends and why I wasn't going to play the game, and some people just, of course, as I expected, got a little bit overly defensive because that's the hot game that they're enjoying right now. And so I want to address some of those comments that I got in that because some people are just still totally missing the point. So first, let's hop into the situation where it comes to in-game currency and the reason why you shouldn't be trying to use the, oh, they provide you with in-game currency, you can get all this stuff with in-game currency in the games. It doesn't really matter what game you're talking about because all of these games use the exact same method to try to bait and switch you, to try to lure you in with false promises, and then once you're sucked in, once you're lured into the game, you realize, oh no, if I want any of this stuff, I'm actually going to have to pay real money for it. And what am I talking about? Well, when it comes to how games decide to give you in-game currency and the rate at which they give it to you, it's very similar to the rate in which you might level up in many normal games. And what happens? You play through the first chapter of a game, or you play the first multiplayer match, and what happens? You go from level 1 to level 2. You level up very quickly, and then to get from level 2 to level 3, it's not going to take very long at all. And at the beginning, they're just going to be giving you a ton of levels. You're going to level up very, very fast at the start of every game, and then once you get to level 10, it starts to slow down. Get to level 25, it starts to slow down again, and pretty soon, before you know it, it's taking you several hours worth of gameplay in between level ups. Well, when it comes to in-game currency, pretty much across the board, these games decide to use the exact same method. They will shower you with the in-game currency. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's gold or V-Bucks or whatever other nonsense crap they want to call it. Apex coins, whatever crap name they want to give it. It doesn't matter because they all do the same thing. They might give you some bonus for pre-ordering the game, or they might give you some bonus for signing in. You've got the Founders Pack. You're one of the first people to play the game, so they're going to give you a bonus. Or maybe they just want to say, hey, thanks for playing the game. Here's, a trivial amount of the coins. And then what happens is, it doesn't matter what it is. It might be, go to this location and you get some more coins. Go get your first kill and you get some more coins. Win your first match, get some more coins. But then after a while, all that preliminary stuff, you've already done it, and they stop giving you all the coins because you've already gotten your coins for getting your first 100 kills or getting your first win using this weapon or whatever it wants to be. If it's a single player game, sometimes they'll do that too. If it's something that has in-game currency, they'll do the same thing. You clear a zone, they'll give you some more coins. And now we're seeing this sort of thing with a particular game called Anthem this week, and players are realizing, the people who played it early with the Origins Insider Pass and all that, people are starting to realize that the game is doing the exact same method that a lot of these other games have done. It's following the exact same pattern. Because I watched some videos from the EA Game Changers who were hyping up the system at first, being like, oh, look at all these points I'm getting to spend, this is great, I'm getting all this in-game currency. Look, you can see, guys, they're being totally fair with how quickly they're shelling this stuff out. And then once they get through the missions and all this stuff, and they've done everything for the first time, they're realizing that now they're not getting very many coins at all. And so what they do is they try to lure you back in and say, oh, you can earn some more if you do the daily missions or the weekly mission or the monthly mission. It doesn't matter. All these type of games do it. Especially games as a service games are the worst when it comes to this, because they want you coming back for more and more and more to lure you into buying more of their items. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what the game is. Like I said, all of them follow this same model. And of course, you can always use the classic, well, you just don't have to buy them defense. And that's fine. Yeah, you don't have to do it. But come on. It's just human nature to want to customize your character to make it look a little bit different than everyone else's. It's just normal for people to want to do that. That's why cosmetic skins are so popular, and why that's the one thing that people can consistently sell. People don't care about a lot of the other crap that they sell. Let's be honest. It's always the skins that people want, because people just like to show off. People like to peacock around. That's what they do. And of course, you always get, I'm sure everyone's got a couple of weird friends, and maybe you're one of them too, where you're just like, I don't care, I'll just play with the default, it doesn't matter. And yeah, there's always going to be people like that. But for the most part, a lot of people want to at least customize their character to a little degree. It's just normal. We don't have to argue about it and beat around the bush. We can just face the facts that it's human nature that people want to do that, okay? Can we stop trying to deny that for the sake of trying to defend the monetization practice? People want the stuff, okay? Period. Stop arguing about it. It's ridiculous. You know it, and I know it. And so when these games and these developers, and especially these games as a service type games, try to lure you in with the promise of in-game currency and they act for the first dozen hours or so, you're getting a ton of the in-game currency. Just be aware that is going to dry up very quickly. I saw people trying to defend this with Fallout 76 too. People saying, oh, I'm actually getting these Atom points really quickly. Yeah, at the beginning you do. And then after a while, you have to go out there and really grind to get more. They lure you in quickly. They offer you stuff that you can buy right away. People are like, oh, I'm getting points at a decent rate. So they go ahead and they spend their in-game currency that they get. And then they realize, once they've been playing the game for a while, that, oh, if I want anything else out of their shop, I'm going to have to grind for a very long time or give in and do what they really want, and that is to make you buy the stuff with real money. That's what the ultimate goal is. They lure you in. I've made this analogy before. This is what drug dealers do. They give you a couple of free samples, and they lure you in, and then next thing you know, you're paying for it yourself, because that's exactly what they really want. They shower you with the in-game currency to start, and then over time, it just gets to be a slower and slower trickle. And that is across the board with all of these in-game currencies, in these games as a service titles especially. It's across the board. If you recall, even Destiny, Bungie got caught outright secretly throttling people's experience, because every time you would level up, you would get some points to go towards buying something in the Eververse store. And so the Bungie got caught secretly throttling XP, and they had to go in and fix it. And of course, they're like, oh, thanks for bringing this to our attention, as if they had no clue that they were doing that. But that's the sort of thing that these companies have done. There's a track record of it going back years with all of these titles. Just be aware of it, and stop using the, oh, you can earn stuff with in-game currency as an excuse, because that well is going to run dry very, very quickly. Now let's move on to the next topic. So there was a lot of people that were kind of upset with the way I categorized Apex Legends by merely dismissing it as an EA game. But people were bafflingly trying to explain to me that EA is doing the right thing. People were acting like they've somehow turned the corner when it comes to monetization practices. And then I just mentioned the fact, well, this game still has randomized loot boxes. That is not a good thing to have in any game. There is no excuse for it. There is simply no excuse for randomized loot boxes, period. It is sheer cash grab at its finest. It is there to lure in the people who are not strong-willed enough to avoid purchasing them. There never, ever, ever is justification for randomized loot boxes. If you want to sell stuff, that is one thing. We can have a conversation about the way you price it, but that's fine. If you want to sell something for a specific amount of money, I still think it's ridiculous when people spend $10, $20 on a skin in a game. I think it's nuts. I don't think people are really thinking about what that value of that $20 could be in relation to buying another game, a full game you could buy for the cost of just a few of these skins. It's ridiculous to me, but we can talk about that. But when it comes to randomized loot boxes, where they just want you to pull the lever again and again and again, and you have no clue what you're going to get, there is no need for that. And I will not hear any justification for loot boxes, because there is none that you can provide me that will make me be convinced that this stuff needs to be in any game, period. So don't sit there and try to tell me that EA has turned the corner, which a baffling amount of people tried telling me that. They haven't turned a corner. They're still selling randomized loot boxes in their game. There's no justification for it as well. And I want to talk about the odds that Respawn is bragging about, acting like they are the second coming when it comes to how they're handling their monetization and the way that they're being so fair with their loot boxes. Well, let's discuss this, because once again, this is a case where someone wants to look at it half full, but the reality, if you look at it with a half empty mentality, you'll see that the odds are actually overwhelming in the other direction. Let's just take a really quick look at this. So Respawn has been bragging that when you purchase one of these loot boxes, or if you get that, you can earn up to 45 of them just by leveling up your character, but it is capped. You can only earn so many before they're going to want you to pay with real money. But that's besides the point. So what they say is, if you want to get one of the top tier items in the game, they're saying, oh, it's a 7.4% chance that you'll get one in one of these loot boxes. And if you open at 30 and you haven't gotten one, well, on the 30th time, you'll get a pity drop, and they'll give you a guaranteed legendary after you open 30 of these boxes, which are priced at about $1 a piece. And it really goes to show the state of the industry right now, when Respawn has been bragging about loot boxes that by their own admission, you have over a 92% chance of not getting anything legendary out of the box. 92% chance. Oh, but they want to couch it with the positive turn. They're saying, oh, it's over 7%. That's not too bad, right, guys? People are saying, yeah, that's pretty good. But look at it the other way. That means you have a 92.6% chance of not getting a legendary item. And even if you do get a legendary item in the box, how do you know it's for a character that you want? You have no control over what you're getting. You're just getting a whatever legendary item that they have deemed as legendary. Just because based on their own artificial scarcity that they provide with their, and then they use the timed events. Oh, you can only get this stuff for now. Better buy more of those loot boxes. Give us more money. It's just $1 a piece, no big deal, right? And you're just sitting there, people are just sitting there wasting money on this crap and defending it. And then don't forget, I don't know if you guys even know about this, they also have this secret heirloom set that you can get, which they say you're guaranteed to get at least one piece of the heirloom set for every 500 boxes that you open. That's right. Isn't that a steal? $1 a piece for a loot box, and you're guaranteed to get one of these heirloom pieces for just 500 loot boxes. Wow, that is super generous. So you're telling me that if I spend maybe potentially $500 or so for loot boxes for this supposedly free-to-play game, I will be guaranteed to get a piece of this heirloom armor set. Give me a break. And people are happily defending the monetization for the game, telling me EA's turned the corner, Respawn has nailed it. Okay, I think that's insane when you really sit and look at the numbers. And they're bragging about these odds. That's the sick thing about it. That's how bad the industry has become. That a company is posting these odds and being like, hey, go ahead and pat us on the back. Look how great these odds are. Wow. We're awesome. And do you know that you only have to open 30 packs and you'll guarantee to get some randomized thing that we deem to be legendary. Wow. It's free to play though, guys. Just totally defend it across the board. And again, like I said earlier, you can use the, oh, well, you don't have to buy it defense. Well, that's fine. We all know that people still buy this crap. So, that's fine. Just go ahead, keep defending it. Keep defending a game with randomized loot boxes. Tell me EA's turned the corner, and I'll just keep laughing about it. Because it's ridiculous. And it is laughable that anyone would try to use that type of defense. Anyway, that's it from me, Coach Toolshed. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm sure plenty of people are going to disagree with this as well, but go ahead and let me know. We'll try to hash it out. Please subscribe if you want to stay in tune with the channel headed forward, and as always, keep it turned to 11.